forecast inflation numbers and an incompetent Fed. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 16th, Selection Sunday. And of course, March the 16th, that should be. And it is Selection Sunday for the NCAA tournament, which will be fun. Give us some excitement for a couple of weeks as we just passed the conference tournaments, which were really great. In the meantime, we had this week, obviously, a very wild market, which we'll get into our market report, but down again. I think we're in trouble in a lot of areas. But again, let's get to the other news as well first. And of course, we had the CPI and the PPI, which showed basically flat or cooling. I call bullshit on both numbers. There's no way that the inflation is 2.8%. There is no way that it has come down. Now we are on the right track now to come down as we continue to see oil come down and prices come down. But this is going to take a while. The overwhelming choice here is that it's going to take some time for this market to catch up and for the economy to catch up to what the president is trying to do. And that is to bring down prices. But they don't happen overnight. You do not turn around an economy like the United States in one day. We have made a lot of the right steps, and there's a lot of things that you can be happy about. But the spending resolution is, maybe what I'm not thrilled about. Again, I'm tired of the government wasting money. But of course, we do have the Doge by Elon Musk, and of course, he's been forced to have to hand over documents to any written questions to a judge. And again, at the end of the day, it's fine. I believe in full disclosure. I have no problem. I wish that we had true full disclosure on the government, like the Epstein reports. I mean, why are Bondi and Cash having to fight to get them out when they should just be out? Okay, I think that our government has way too many secrets from us when they are not giving us the straight answers. Okay, and that doesn't matter whether you be a Republican or a Democrat. Okay, I think your best shot for full disclosure is from President Trump, because I don't think that he tries to hide behind it. I think he just says what he thinks and what he wants, and he tries to run the country more like a business, which I am a big fan of. Okay, you gotta wonder about your professors and about your kids going to school, as the Harvard professor calls for firing of any faculty not supporting gender-affirming policies. Now, I don't know where anybody stands on gender-affirming policies. Personally, I don't give a fuck what you do in your own home. But when you start teaching my children, okay, when you want to affect my children who have not had a chance to grow yet, have not reached puberty yet, have not gone through it, I find that to be very, very bad. And I find that this Harvard professor to be a fucking imbecile. Okay, I don't want gender affirming policies in children. I don't want it taught in my schools at first and second and third grade. I think that it's ridiculous. Again, you may disagree, and that's fine. Disagree all you want. Okay, you have an opinion, and I have no problem. I respect your opinion, but I think it's a horrific event that is going on in this country. And I mean, again, you can go back to there's XX, XY, and YY. I mean, again, you're either a man or a woman born. Okay, what your feelings are, hey, you can make those changes when you become an adult. Okay, they won't even let you get LASIK surgery until you're fully grown. So, anyways, the debate, AOC is a moron. Of course, how a bartender got to where she is, and it's amazing how she was broke and now worth about $4 or $5 million, and now she's obviously the bane of the existence of the far left, and continues to push trying to stop the spending resolution. Again, I don't agree with it, and I actually agree with not her, but the policy of not funding it. But I think our government is broken. I think Fetterman, who really laid into her, is right, and I just think that the size of government needs to be reduced. Okay, which again we talk about that the United States Post Office is going to cut 10,000 jobs. Okay, through Doge. I think they should cut 100,000 jobs. And again, I'm not looking for people to lose their job. Okay, what I'm looking for is don't hire new people for the post office. The post office is antiquated. The post office is as antiquated as the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let it fizzle out, continue to close real estate offices and save that money. and let the people retire and don't hire any new people. Okay, that's what I think we should do. Okay, now it's amazing. Okay, now I'm a libertarian. I'm more to the center. I mean, I lean right fiscally. Okay, I lean left. Is what you want to do is what you want to do. I don't care. But now, of course, some of the Republicans are for these clean energy tax breaks. So they fought against clean energy. Okay, because I agree. Listen, I don't mind clean energy. In fact, we should have nuclear power. That would be the best amount of clean energy I could see, nuclear. But at the end of the day, okay, they want these tax breaks. Now, if they're pushing for tax breaks, it's about money. Okay, that's what the key is. It's about money. Okay, and I think that if you look at it, it always comes down to money. Okay, will Putin agree to a ceasefire? I don't know. I mean, Putin's is a big bully. Okay, Zelensky's a piece of shit, and hopefully Trump can get in between the two of them and get this thing over with already. But certainly, I'm tired of supporting it. Okay. Lutnick, his Commerce Secretary, rips the Atlanta GDP or the Atlanta Fed on their GDP now forecast that we're going to have a lack of growth. Well, Howard, I hope you do a good job, but I don't know where we're going to. You think that this is going to stop? We are not getting real growth. We are having some major problems, and I think that that's a bigger problem. So again, you can yell at the Atlanta Fed. I mean, listen, the Fed is shit anyways, and the Fed is incompetent, and the Fed is irresponsible, and the Fed is responsible for this inflation, is never-ending inflation. Okay, you see, if they would let the free markets trade, then you wouldn't have the inflation problem that you have. But because they manipulate interest rates, they allow more people to get into deeper debt, which creates a higher interest rate. It's a whole big deal here. But the bottom line is interest rates should be legitimately, there's a demand for money at 6 or 7 or 8%. Okay. We should not be cutting rates. The Fed has no business cutting rates because it's not their job in this conspiracy. They have 2 mandates and they're not following either one of them. Okay. And of course, it is now 5 years since the big COVID boom and the tyranny from the government. Again, listen, they stole so much money. They fucked us as hard as they could with this COVID bullshit. I called bullshit day one. You may remember, may not remember, but I can prove it. And I still call it bullshit. Okay. COVID is nothing more than the cold or the flu. And the people that died from COVID were going to die from some other respiratory disease through the cold or the flu or pneumonia. Anyways, it was no big deal. And if you look at it, all you have to do is look at the numbers. You don't have to change anything. All you have to do is look at the numbers. And the numbers are very simply that it had no effect. Okay. It didn't change the amount of sicknesses of cold and flu. They just gave it a new category so they could steal more money from you and me. And of course, lastly, well, California once again is running a scam, and they're having a little bit of a $3.4 billion shortfall trying to get money from the government to give illegal aliens medical care. I don't want illegal aliens to get Medicare. Send them out. Send them back to Mexico or wherever they came from and get rid of them. Okay? I'm not, unfortunately, I live in California, but I'm not funding illegals. Okay? Let's forget about the funding of illegals and let's go forward. Okay? In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Selection Sunday, March the 16th. And of course, we're going to step out here for a break. We'll be back with our market report right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. What's up, kids? Well, of course, we have sponsors for the show. And our sponsors are TRADIER Brokerage, which is, again, $10 a month, saves me over 100 grand in commissions. That's for your equities, for futures and commodities, Capital Trading Group. Great customer service, great, very competitive price-wise, terrific people, great to deal with, do a lot of products with us. And of course, ITM Trading for your gold and silver needs, physical metals, a lot. And of course, I've been doing business with them for as long as I've been doing interviews with Danielle Cambone, which is about 12 years now. That's how long I've been doing business with them. And of course, Spooky Express, if you're a gambler or you want to get out, you got offshore betting, spookyexpress.com. And of course, our high school program. Check it out. We're trying to build this and educate people, but it's very difficult to give some education. But in the meantime, that's what we see. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horwitz, and it is Sunday, Selection Sunday, March the 16th. And we got a lot of fun coming this week, so we'll have a lot of selections starting on probably Thursday. But in the meantime, you care more about the markets, and they got waxed once again, even with Friday's big run-up. And actually, we had two rally days, Wednesday and Friday, but overall, the markets took another beat down. They are now well below the 200-day moving average. And of course, there's an old saying, market theory, the bulls live below the 200-day moving average and the bears live above. So I think until we get back above the 200-day moving average, you can bet your ass that there's going to be some beat down. Now that should create a lot of opportunity. I think you're going to see, although I do think we're going much lower over time, I think you're going to see a big a big rally that will lead for an opportunity to sell quite a bit. Okay. I think that what you want to look for is what we call a rip your face off rally. And if you look at the 200-day right now, okay, it's in the S&P, it's 57.75. So you could rally 140 points and still be below the 200-day moving average, which I believe is real possible. And I would expect it. I've been expecting this rip your face off rally, which we haven't seen. But the markets are ugly. They're in trouble. And again, I'm not telling you we're going way down, but the NASDAQ got very close to bear market territory and then came back a little bit, but still we're down double digits in the NASDAQ and high singles in the other indexes. And it's just a matter of time, I think, before we go lower. But again, use this time to take advantage, and you also use this time to invest and buy some bargains, because stocks will bottom at different times. Okay. In the meantime, in the four major indices, we're still long, so it was a rough week for us. The dollar, which had a rough week, we would be long. We don't trade anymore, and it's only because of the cost in New York. It has nothing to do with the dollar. Okay, the euro currency continues to pop higher. We continue to be short. It is extremely overbought, and we would look for it to pull back. The bonds and notes, we are short both, which indicates we believe that interest rates are going higher, and both bonds and notes were down for the week. We remain short, and I expect a much bigger move to the downside. Now, it is Fed week coming up, FOMC on Wednesday, so we'll see what it looks like there. Bitcoin, amazingly, as everybody laughed when I called for 85,000, excuse me, and it broke down to 75,000 or so. And now it's been hovering right at that 85,000. Can't seem to break it out. We'll see. I think it looks okay, and we are long it, and I would look to be a buyer here. Gold hit 3,000. In fact, it closed at 3,000 on the official close, but in the aftermarket did trade under. I think this is a great selling opportunity for gold. We are short, but I think forget about my opinion or what my actual position is. This is usually whole numbers are a great place to sell, and I think this is a great place to sell gold. Listen, I'm a big gold fan, and I own gold. Okay, and I'm not selling that, but from a trading standpoint, I think the trade here is to short it. Silver up to almost $35. It's really running up pretty good. We have no position, but we will probably be getting short if it continues to rally. Platinum is back over 1,000. Okay, which is, again, platinum used to be double gold. Now it's a third of gold. We don't trade it. It's not liquid enough, but I wouldn't be a buyer here, but I would be a buyer back if it would pull back to about 980. Copper trying to push higher, but we are still short. The grain markets continue to be in rough territory. It is amazing that we can't seem to get these grain markets higher, and there's a lot of pressure on them. I was really bullish for a while, and I'm getting bullish again because they're just getting so far oversold. But again, we have no position. But I think that again, they're being pushed down, and the volumes have been light. But I would look at some point, another 3, 4, 5% lower to be a potential buyer. I'd rather wait, or I'd rather miss it. But it's obviously very tough for our farmers, especially going into planting season. In the meats, it is beyond me how the cattle markets continue to go higher. I want to know who the buyers are of the food, who's buying steak. But again, we were short for a while. We got out. I only trade it. We don't trade it as a group, but I've got out at a small profit, believe it or not. But at the end, I'd like to sell it. But again, it's so thin, it's hard for me to want to delve in. But for fat cattle, they call it, which is in over $2 a pound, is ridiculous. I just don't get it. But at the end of the day, again, I'll find a spot to sell it because I've seen this movie before. And I will let you know during the daily update. But right now, we have no position. Hogs, can't seem to catch a bid anymore once again, which doesn't make sense with the overall economy, because I do believe we're in a recession. So where's it coming from? And of course, nat gas had its big push higher. Again, I'm not saying it can't go higher, but I think that, as I said during the week, I'd be pressing my nat gas to the short side, which I did. And I think that we're getting ready to break down and go back into the threes. And crude oil continue just to vacillate towards the bottom. I think you get a pop in crude. I think you get a pop and a drop. I think crude is going, I'm going to say before the end of the year, crude oil will be in the 50s, if not the 40s. Okay, that's the way I see it. We'll see. And in our commentary, we'll talk about how to handle these markets. So let's step out for our final break and come back with my market commentary. Welcome back. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and it is Sunday, March the 16th, Selection Sunday. And I know the last couple of weeks have been pretty nasty, and the market's actually been a little bit longer. But I want to remind you all, okay, from a trading standpoint, from an investing standpoint, all markets bring opportunity. Okay? And I think the opportunity, first of all, too many of you get involved in a lot of these shitty programs that make promises that they can never deliver on. Now, again, we haven't had, our services have not had good weeks in the last couple of weeks. I'm not, listen, not going to ever lie to you. You know that I send out my results every Sunday or every Saturday, like clockwork. But in the meantime, I do want to talk to you about leverage, okay? Because leverage is easy to get what we call over leveraged, okay? Now, the problem with being over leveraged when you're wrong is the money dries up too quickly and you're getting margin calls and you can't deal with it, okay? And of course, you're always better to be under leveraged so that you have capital so that you can continue to participate in the market, okay? From an investing standpoint, you should be looking for value now. Okay. Again, like I said, there are all stocks will bottom at certain times. Like, for example, I'm not going to, this is not a recommendation, but NVIDIA. Has NVIDIA bottomed around 100? I would think so. Again, I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm in it and I'm hedged. I mean, we hedge all of our equities. I'm always 100% invested from an investing standpoint. And sometimes I'm obviously short trading, but I think you shouldn't get emotional about the market. Okay. You shouldn't be looking at your 401k or your IRA every day. Okay. It's going to come back. And if the total market structure collapses where you would have to sell out, it's not going to, nothing's going to matter. Okay. You have to be patient enough and understand that the markets have gone up 8.5% year over year in history and 10% year over year since 1950. The biggest flaw in most people that trade, okay, and invest is they're too quick on the trigger to take the profits, too short on the trigger to take the loss, and typically over leverage more capital than they have. Then they get into trouble and they're forced to make bad decisions. I think you need to sit down and put together a game plan. Come and visit on our Monday night call. We do it every Monday. But put together a game plan and don't let these markets spook you. They're bringing you a lot of opportunity. And I think the first opportunity from here is going to be on the buy side. We'll see how it plays out. But we talk about it every day. In the meantime, it is Selection Sunday. I hope your team gets in. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, March the 16th. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. Have a great weekend, everybody.